Yo, 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 what's good, family? High value basketball. We are back once again with the absolute best basketball commentary on this side of the planet. You dig? Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Yo, we are talking about the Utah Jazz family. We are back doing our roster breakdowns for the 2022-2023 season. And we got an interesting one. Man, we've heard a lot about the Donovan Mitchell trade. Of course, we've talked a lot about the Rudy Gobert trade and the seeming gutting of the roster for the Utah Jazz and them tanking for the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. And while on the surface that might be true, I gotta say, breaking this roster down, this is gonna be a fun team to watch. Now, of course, they may not win a whole bunch of games, but on paper, they got some dudes out here running. They got some young guns, and they're gonna put something together here that I think is gonna be a little more fun than what we anticipate, since we think it's all doom and gloom since their two superstars left. So just getting right into it. Like right off the top, we already got the draft pick, Ochai Agbaji. And of course, please forgive me for butchering the name, but Ochai, man, that is a perfect draft prospect. They did good with that pick. The Kansas prospect, of course, he had a crazy run with the team, getting them, to the championship and Final Four, all of those wonderful things, and basically leading the team. He is a super shooter. He's got great athleticism. And he's just not a catch and shoot guy. He can shoot off the dribble, get his own shot, and he's got great defensive instincts. Like basically low key, he's in that same kind of Paul George frame or Paul George mold of player. And for what it's worth, that could be something to develop for sure. And he's gonna get some buckets this year. I definitely believe he can get some buckets if he has good shot selection. Then we got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and so this dude, he hasn't really done too much, but he did come off his best season. He's in his third season. He came from the Pelicans. He is in, basically he's going to be in an opportunity where he's going to get the most playing time that he's probably ever got, considering that this is going to be a young roster trying to put it all back together. So like I said, he was up and coming in the Pelicans, and now he's got an opportunity to maybe break through in the rotation. Udoka Azubuike, the big center. So he was a non-impact guy. He's probably just going to get a couple minutes, to shore up the roster since they traded Rudy Gobert. They brought him in just to make sure that, they don't have a void at the center position. But I really don't see him doing too much. Malik Beasley, of course, coming over from the Gobert and the Patrick Beverly trade. And, man, got a shout out to from Malik Beasley, yo. He's going to get a lot of run on this squad, that is for sure, because they need his impact, his energy. He's got fairly good defensive instincts. He didn't, he didn't have the greatest of years last year. It was a little bit of a down year last year. But considering this team he's going to be on, I think he'll be back numbers-wise. So let's hopefully see if it can lead to maybe some wins. Leandro Bolmaro, Mr. Leandro Bolmaro. He was simply included in the Beverly trade. He's just a turnover. Don't really know what he's going to do much. I doubt he does too much of anything, but always got to give him out a shout out. Shout out to Leandro. Get your money, man. Jared Butler. He's going to get a lot more playing time. And he really did his thing, out there. What is that, in Baylor, I believe? Yeah, he was hanging out in Baylor, and he was doing his thing out there, man, getting some good playing time. And he's going to be in this heavy shooting guard rotation. I'm not going to lie. They got like 4 shooting guards on the team. So will he break the rotation? I don't know, because probably Taylor Horton-Tucker is going to get a lot of that. But he's going to be a good backup. That is for sure. Then, of course, we got Jordan Clarkson, Mr. Fashionista himself. So, he had the offseason where he put on a weird dress. So I'm going to follow up with, he's going to have another weird season to follow up with that. There's something about dudes who show up with dresses in the offseason. Then that weirdness rolls over into the regular season. So he might have a weird down year this year, y'all. I'm calling it on the dress. Then, of course, we got Mike Conley. We all know Mike Conley, man, household name. He has unfortunately been, for what it's worth, not say a bust, but he definitely has not been what they wanted him to be since he got there. His tenure has not been much of a needle pusher. So he needs to eventually get traded. He's probably going to be out of there, considering the fact, especially that they've got some young guns on this team that they, are drafting and trading for, things like that. I could see him by mid-season, him off on a sub championship level team to try to see if he could be a plus to get them over the hump. Simone Fontecchio. Yo, Simone is that dude. He's basically the new Joe Ingles for this team. Dude's coming out of Italy. He's got way more athleticism, but just in that same kind of Joe Ingles identity, he's just way more savvy than you really think that he probably should be. Like if you just kind of look at him on the surface and you'd be like, okay, man, this dude ain't nothing. Boom, dropping threes in your face. Boom, talking trash. Boom, with a crazy crossover that sent you flying in the other direction, even though he's not the most dynamic athlete on the court. That is Simone Fontecchio. So watch out for him filling in that Joe Ingles role with spades if he can bring it all together with the NBA pacing and speed. Rudy Gay, he is the wily vet. That's where he's at in this phase of his career. He's not moving the needle anywhere. He's simply, good locker room guy, good professionalism guy, come in, get his minutes, score his points, be a good mentor to the youngins, and go on home and ride off in the sunset eventually when his time comes. So he is one season closer to that. But shout out to Rudy, man. Shout out to Rudy. THT, Taylor Horton Tucker. Yo, THT finna have him a breakout year this year, man. Like that's for real, for real. THT is about to run some stuff up and down that court. For those who have watched a little bit of the Lakers last year, that whenever he played and there was no LeBron dominating the ball, he was essentially a scoring machine. I honestly feel like he's a better scorer than Jordan Clarkson on this team because from what I've seen, he seems to be a little bit more efficient, has better shot selection. So that's going to be real interesting to see how they work that out because I know they're kind of listed at the same position there. So, we'll see if there's going to be some weird log jam or some weird, only one ball sharing, type of situation. But regardless of such, Taylor Horton Tucker's going to break out this year. I see that for real. Stanley Johnson. That's so hilarious, man. Stanley Johnson being with the Jazz is such a GM situation, man. The dude was basically like the only plus on the Lakers last year playing with LeBron. Dude's got a super high motor. He's got really good instincts. He's kind of one-dimensional, really just been able to kind of score around the rim. But who cares when you find yourself being a plus guy, a dirty work guy, rebound, picking up, things kind of guy, and you are lifting up your team, you should stay with said team. But for some odd reason, dudes like Stanley Johnson always get tossed around, and it's so weird. And like I said, it's so fitting for what the Lakers and Lake GM are doing over there too. So hopefully he can build upon what he did last season and bring this to a young team that can, more adequately use his services for sure. Johnny Juzang, he went undrafted for some odd reason. But dude is basically Klay Thompson light. Like, I don't understand what the hell going on with that. He had a fairly decent run with UCLA. They got, of course, into the tournament. He did his thing in the tournament. I'm pretty sure he had like a 29-point game one time. And dude is a pure shooter. And when I talk about the Klay Thompson mode, like, he really is in that mode. Like, dude catches and shoot. His play style is virtually darn near the same. Like, he can get to the rim a little bit. He's still young, so he's like that early Klay Thompson where he was getting to the rim and doing floaters. Klay Thompson wasn't dunking immediately. But still, just that real savvy footwork to get open shots from distance, that new shooting instinct, that they have to aim for 3-pointers, things like that. He's got that in spades, man. Like his form is beautiful, and he can get hot. He had multiple 4-for-4 streaks, and I think he had a 5-for-5 streak in one game as well. So yeah, dude is literally a Klay Thompson light out here, yo. So he's gonna be in addition to the stretching the floor and shooting that a lot of folks are not gonna see coming on this team. That is for sure. Then we got Walker Kessler. Yo, Walker Kessler then somehow made himself a household name for us NBA nerds, man, because I didn't heard this dude's name for what has seemed like a whole season already, and the dude ain't even in the league yet. But I understand with him being drafted, why they are okay with letting Rudy Gobert go. Like just being straight up and down about it. Of course, they don't play the same, but for what it's worth, he is a big center. He plays big. He plays strong. He likes being around the rim. He likes having defensive impact. And, he's played the American game his whole life. So these weird kind of super quirky moments that we keep running into with Gobert, we probably won't see with Walker. Just normal growing pains because he's a youngin'. So shout out to Walker Kessler and him being the Rudy replacement potentially. Saban Lee is interesting because he was essentially like a backup, backup to Cade in Detroit. He didn't have any major impact, not because he necessarily wasn't good enough, but just because of how that roster is built and just the focus of how they were going. There really was no role for him to play. So bringing him over here to the Jazz, coming out the gate, it might be a similar thing, clearly with Colin Sexton and Mike Conley Jr. on the squad. But I foresee Mike Conley being moved and him coming into the backup role. And so he'll probably get his minutes that way. Lauri Markkanen, he is another player that's going to have a breakout year right along THT, yo. Lauri Markkanen, as we, may know for those NBA fans, he's definitely a hidden gem over there at the Cavs. Making himself into a household name with his abilities. Him coming over here to this Jazz team is almost a similar situation, being with a young squad, and they are in need of scoring. They're in need of attitude. They're in need of folks who can be potential leaders. He's back. He's read up the dice in another situation with this squad, and I definitely believe with how this team is put together that he is going to have the spacing and just the ability to get this going, because he's basically going to be an alpha dog along Colin Sexton. Then we got Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk, man, he's kind of reaching that wily vet status as well, and he is essentially the prototypical stretch four from like the yesteryear era, before power forwards needed to be like Jason Tatum style players, basically like Kevin Durant style players. He is a traditional old school big man with a shooting form, for those who don't know. He's going to play that stretch four role. He keeps finding himself on a team. He keeps finding himself in some weird highlight at least once a year, where it's not him making the highlight, it's just him being a part of it. Either he's getting like dunked on, or some weird technical foul, or somebody's getting hurt or something. It's always something weird with Kelly Olynyk in his highlight reel. But hey, get your money, man. I ain't mad at you, bro. Colin Sexton. As I said earlier, Colin Sexton, he's going to be running alongside Lauri Markkanen. Of course, they have familiarity with each other being in Cleveland, so they are going to pack out a 1-2 punch potentially. And like I said, Colin Sexton, man, his intensity, his leadership skills, his willingness to do whatever it takes, like his desire to win, that is what's going to be needed on a young squad like this. Again, I mean, he played that role perfectly in Cleveland. And pushing and changing the culture to help, legitimize that franchise. He's gonna do the same thing here in Utah. And again, with this team and with this squad, he's got a read up opportunity to surprise folk, because nobody's gonna see this team coming. And I definitely believe he can help lead the charge. Jared Vanderbilt, he's gonna be another hidden gem for this team, a nice X factor, because he essentially was that. For Minnesota. Of course, he didn't get a lot of run, but even without getting the super duper amount of run, he was a plus on the team. I definitely remember seeing him on the screen flying around and darn near every play, when they were making their run to the play-in, and he was always just right there. One of these high motor guys, high energy guys, right there on the periphery of the play, right there to, put the finish on the dunk, right there to get the interference on the pass. He just always has his face in the play. So seeing he's going to be on a team that need a guy like that, I definitely see him getting more pub and more shine and recognition. And last but not least, Cody Zeller. Man, Cody Zeller, he's simply just a holdout. Let me not say holdout. He's just coming off a very average season up there in Portland. In Portland, again, they had a terrible year, so he contributed to that terrible year, not being able to help lift the team. So him coming over here, I don't see him being able to do anything special other than just being another body. Of course, he's in the center position, so he's just there to fill out the staple of centers now that Rudy Gobert has left. So, yeah, he's a little bit of a wily vet a little bit as well. Like, dude is he's about to be 30, so he's one of the older guys on this team. Crazy enough. So just look to him to mentor, fill out his role, be a professional, and roll it out that way. Now, for the starting five for this team, this is where it gets fun. Of course, we got Colin Sexton, we got Lauri Markkanen, and then from there, it gets interesting. Because what do we do with Mike Conley? Will he be gone by then? I'm pretty sure he will. So, well, actually, I'm pretty sure he won't, because, training camp is about to start. So, they really going to have a backcourt of those guys what am I trying to say here? Of Colin Sexton, and then Mike Conley, then followed by either Jordan Clarkson or Taylor Horton Tucker, depending on who has like the best defensive presence. And then for size wise, I don't even know how they're gonna fill out the rest of the rotation, because again, you got Ochai Agbaji, who may get playing time because he may be such a dynamic young dude. But then you also got, like I say, Simone Fonteco. If he can keep up with the spacing, he may be able to get some run out there. And then, yeah, man, I honestly do think they're going to walk out Walker Kessler. I do feel like Walker Kessler is going to start as a first year. And so the thing with this team is we don't really necessarily know how the starting five is going to be. But after that starting five, they got a staple of players, man. And I really do believe that they're going to put that thing together. So, again, let me close that out with that starting five. So, we got Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Taylor Horton Tucker, and Mike Conley. Yeah, it's not the best squad, but let them get their rotation going. They're going to win a few games. Definitely going to miss the play-in team at absolute best.